before we go, I do want to tell you about our brand new sponsor, Country Financial. A couple of weeks ago, it was that time of the year for my husband and I to go visit our representative, Mindy Reyes, because, maybe you haven't thought about this. We're getting ready kind of to transition into retirement. Some of you are younger out there, we know that. But it's never too early or even too late to think about your retirement plans or buying insurance, just your financial situation in general. Mindy's done a great job for us, and we highly recommend give a call. Get a consultation. It's not going to cost you anything, and you can meet her. You can call Mindy Reyes. She's your country financial representative. You can reach her at 480-998-8195 to chat about your insurance needs today. Again, that's Mindy Reyes, Country Financial, 480-998-8195, and tell them that Alice Lara and Don Jorge sent you from the Chips and Salsa Show.
Which of the Latin countries are you from? The one with the Civil War, the one with the cocaine, or the one with the fancy hats?
And we are back here with the Chips and Salsa Show. My name is Alice Lara, and aquí con
Don Jorge.
We have a great guest coming up here in just a minute, but I don't want to forget to mention this story before we do this, okay? Sorry, Ryan, just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. But did you guys heard, I should just go ahead and introduce you. Ryan Eldridge is running for LD21 here for the Arizona State Senate. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Great. And before we highlight all your great stuff, I have to mention this story. Remember the Marine in Yuma that he stopped those perps? They had a gun, and the Marine just stopped them in the store and knocked the gun out. You know what I'm talking about, okay? In fact, I think his last name is Kilser. So evidently the Yuma Sheriff's Office, maybe you guys know about this already, the Yuma Sheriff's Office gave him a Citizen's Valor Award. Fantastic, wonderful. I love watching that video. I could watch it a million times. So he accepted the award, and he wore a MAGA hat and an LGB shirt. Let's go, Brandon shirt. So he's our whole enchilada, man.
And the thing is, a lot of people, we don't encourage a lot of people to get in front of fire like that or risk their lives, but he was trained to do that.
He knew what he was doing.
He was a Marine. He was trained to diffuse the situation, and he did. So be careful that we don't encourage people to do things like that. But if you think you can do it and get away with it, fine. Defend yourself. But if you don't have a choice, you got to defend yourself.
Yeah, in these days of self-defense, and we could talk about that as well. Okay, So let's get to our guest, okay? Welcome, Ryan. Thank you for coming in studio. And as you can see behind the banner, he is running for the Arizona State Senate, LD21, Legislative District 21. We are barely hanging on to our majority, I think by one or two people, right?
Yes.
So let's get the basics out of the way. Give us a little minute bio on yourself and kind of explain where LD21 is and why you're running.
Sure. So we'll start with LD21. So LD21 right now currently covers Peoria, El Mirage, Sun City, Youngtown, and Surprise. And, given the redistricting, we're not exactly sure how that's going to pan out.
Yeah, that could change.
LD21 is very, very strong. It's very red. And we know they want to break it up. And the way the maps are looking now, it's going to be broken up maybe 2, maybe even 3 different districts at this point. So, wow. And it makes no sense the way they're redistricting right now. So I will actually be attending the meeting tomorrow, the redistricting meeting in Sun City, with my arguments as to why they shouldn't be breaking up.
Well, they want to destroy the LDs that are strong, and they want to break them up. I mean, it's just that's the way the Democrats are, and they research this and research it, and they come out with these master plans. We have to just fight them, and like you said, you're going to be there, and that is great that you're going to be there.
Well, from what I'm hearing from a lot of people that are attending these meetings, if you even mention you're Republican, they cut you off.
Wow.
They don't give you that much time to speak. If you mention that you're a PC, they definitely don't want to hear from you. So, you have to kind of go in with the tactic that you're just somebody that's there, doesn't really know what you're talking about, and then once you get your floor, then you can actually start talking until they cut you off.
I'm a citizen representative. Now where exactly within the district do you live?
I live in El Mirage right now. I just recently moved into El Mirage. I was living in Peoria, but love my little area in El Mirage. It's a good area.
Wow. Well, who knows? I mean, I saw some maps, and ours is going to change as well too. So, like you're saying, all we can do is represent. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been here? What do you do?
Well,
Are you
originally,
working? Blah,
I'm
blah,
from
blah.
Ohio, so very most southern tip of Ohio, where Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky touch. And there's that old story, the Hatfields and McCoys.
Sure.
Well, I'm pureblood Hatfield, so I'm actually
Seriously?
I
Really?
kid you not. Yes, I am from that area, and so moved to Arizona. I want to say maybe 30-something years ago. And I do have 4 children of my own. I have a 25-year-old, a 24-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 5-year-old. So I started all over again.
Wow.
Then I just recently remarried 2 years ago, and she has 4 of her own. So they're in their 20s, and then I've got 2 grandkids. So, I have a lot that I got to fight for, and it makes me nervous to see what my 6-year-old is going through with school right now. I've been in the protection industry for 25 years. I've run security guard companies. I've worked with, you name it, any type of industry out there that could use security, whether it be celebrities. I've worked with the State Department a little bit, some DOD stuff, and currently I manage a security company in town that's been around for 31 years. I did own my own company for 10 years, though, but because of COVID and all of this, my clients, unfortunately, couldn't stay open, so therefore I lost a lot of clients. Couldn't afford to keep running the business and made it hard. I'm also an NRA certified instructor. So, I'm very pro Second Amendment. I teach a multitude of NRA classes. One of my biggest classes I teach is called Refuse to be a Victim, which is
Love that title.
It's a mindset. It's not a firearms, class, but I also love to teach that one to children because, with children being targeted the way they are this day, we need to educate them, So I'm always working on ways to educate children, on safety features, firearm safety, anything that I can, just because, and I think it touches me a little bit more because I've got my 2 littles,
Sure.
I've got my older ones, I got to see the world they grew up in, but now the world my kids are growing up in it scares me.
And especially, I'm sure you have some thoughts about the current case that's gone national with Rittenhouse. Have you been watching any of that trial?
I did today. It was watched him pull his numbers out, and pick the jurors, and wait to see what happens. But I think he's going to be all right. I really do. I really do.
Now, this is a dumb question, and I meant to call Rachel Alexander and ask her about this, the recovering attorney. But, they're getting threats from these outside groups are saying, to me, it's jury intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, if they're making public threats, why can't they take these guys in? Are they not able to do that until they do something?
Well, see, that's where the First Amendment comes in, the freedom of speech. But then there's a very gray area, especially when it comes to the
It's a threat of
protection
violence,
industry.
though.
Yeah. I'm sure they're all being investigated as to, who they are, what those threats are. But then again, I honestly think the Democrats really like the threats because it's scaring these people into doing the bidding of, the ones that want Rittenhouse to be charged.
So it seems like you're saying there's not enough probable cause where they could actually go and arrest them and take them in. But if they're smart enough, they should at least be watching very closely.
I'm pretty sure they're being watched. But, and again, it's a very gray area, they say you're allowed to say what you want to say, but then there's certain limitations on how much you can say, but it just depends. But I think it's just part of the fuel for that fire right now that they're not going to do anything.
Well, it's we waited, and I watched him on the stand and all that. I thought he did a very good job for the age that he is.
Have you been to other LDs to now show your candidacy?
Yeah, I've gone to a couple to kind of get myself introduced because, I'm most likely going to be joining parts of LD 22. One of the maps says I'll be joining 15, and one of them says 20. So, I'm trying to...
You'll probably end up in my district, South Phoenix, no.
Yeah, why not, But the way I look at it, and I kind of see it as a different approach in a lot of the candidates. I may be working for LD 21 and essentially, but it's the state of Arizona that I need to work for, not just my district and not just my district, what they need. We need to look at the whole picture. And I think a lot of candidates forget that.
So if you win, you just don't, and your district changes, you'll still remain in office representing the state of Arizona?
Yes. Yeah.
He'll have to run in the new whatever newly geographically created district you'll be living in at that point.
But you don't have to rerun.
In 2 years, after this election. But the redistricting should be done in January, so we'll know.
Right.
Yeah, by the end of
January,
December. Yeah.
So you complete your term, and then you'll run for whatever district you live in.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they'll be decided though. I think by the end of December.
So I'll know what district I'll be representing before we turn in all of our signatures in March.
Yeah.
The election is
January 2022.
It's moving fast, so it seems like it's coming right up on us.
Would you have to change then? You would have to, if you move to a different district, you would have to.
I would have to
You're making
to
this
run
complicated,
for whatever
George.
district that I'm living in at the time. Yeah, so
that's a bummer.
That's it's and you're not the only one. It's going to be a very, very interesting year. So what? I know you said you have young children and a big family now, and that's prompting you to run. But have you ever run for office before?
Well, I ran as a write-in candidate in the last election, but I came in kind of late towards the right before the primaries. So it was more so just to get my name known. We got quite a few votes. I mean, my last name's kind of hard to spell, so that's where a majority of the problems were, my votes on the last one. But after this last election, I had a lot of people ask me to get on the ballot. And, I've had businesses come up to me and ask me to get on the ballot because, I've talked with so many businesses and people that have been affected with these mandates that they call. And, they need somebody to fight for them. And they feel that, I'm obviously going to be that one because I've been what they've been through. I've done it. I've lost my business. It's never going to open back up again. And I spent 10 years building it. And, we even won awards. We were one of the top ranked, 5 ranked security companies in the state, according to Rankin Arizona Magazine, for 7 years in a row. And, just to lose it all. And so these people have been asking me, and I've had a lot of people, their big thing is they don't even know who their representatives are.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things I'm finding when I'm going to events and stuff. I said, tell me, what's your representative's name? They don't know. And so for me, that's something we have to change as representatives of the state. They need to know who they can turn to. They shouldn't have to go online and research it all. They should be able to figure out quickly, Ryan Eldridge is my state senator. I know I could call, reach out, and get some type of response from him.
Right, and that's your basic representative. Even people sometimes don't even know their city councilman either. Like, well, I don't know, it's so and so. I said, no, that's the other district. And then we're the political junkies, so we follow everything.
Right.
Now, in LD 21, are they? Who represents that district right now?
Well, right now, Rick Gray is a senator, but he has decided not to seek re-election.
Rick Reyes.
Rick Gray.
Oh, Rick Gray.
Rick Gray. Yeah. And then we have Kevin Payne and Beverly Pingarelli. They are our current representatives for the House. And I do know that Kevin is going to be running for Senate as well. So right now it's pretty much me and him that are it's me and Kevin that are running for state Senate right now for 21.
Kevin
Payne. Yeah.
And you said who's the other person that's the representative?
Beverly Pingarelli. Yeah.
And she's going to still run for
and Rick Gray's not going to run at all?
Rick Gray decided he's not going to do it anymore.
Because he termed out in the House and he ran for Senate. And
he did. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. And he still had one more term left, but he's decided that
he's not gonna run.
He needs to retire, enjoy his life with his wife.
He's been in there for a while.
Oh yeah, he's a good friend of ours.
He's done some good things. He's done some questionable things. But he's done his service, and I think he needs to enjoy the
What I like, Ryan, is the fact that you did lose your business, and that needs to be kept as a reminder in front of people. And yours was a very essential business, but it's not because your business wasn't needed. It's other people couldn't hire you because their businesses were going out of whack. So
absolutely,
it's going to be a very, very fascinating election year, I think. And
I think we're going to have a good step up because people are fed up with what's going on.
They are.
So the Republicans and the conservatives have a good chance as long as we have good candidates and we have a good message for the public out there.
There's a lot of very upset Republicans, and they're not sure how they want to vote right now, whether they want to stay with the independent side, libertarian side. So we need somebody that's going to be able to bridge them, bring them back, give them that hope that they need, that somebody's actually going to fight. And I've talked to many on the road that are telling me they don't know if they can trust the Republican Party anymore. And I hear it. I understand it, because they're frustrated. Because if you look at the last cycle we just had, the last session, so many things could have been done that weren't even touched. And then they send die when we need them the most. They've done that twice. And for me, if I've got to be that one guy that says, no, I'm not ready, we've got a lot of work to do, then, I'll be that guy. And, I've had to fight for everything my whole life. I grew up with a hearing loss. So it was part of that stigma that, I'm a special needs child. Well, it's not that way. I've been able to prove that, being a successful business owner, father, and now, we're going to win this election.
It made you stronger.
It did. And, I'm very fortunate my parents instilled that in me, and I'm hoping that I can do that for my children as well. So.
And what do you think about...
I'm going to interrupt you, George, because we got to wrap up for a break. But you can stay longer with us, right?
Sure.
So hold your question. When we come back, George will bring it back and start the interview, continue the interview, I should say. But we are talking to Ryan Eldridge. That's E-L. I misspelled your name too, George can tell you. Eldridge, but I got it right now. Yep. And he's running for Arizona State Senate, Legislative District number 21. So don't go away, because we'll be right back with more of the interview. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge.
And you're watching or listening to the Chips and Salsa Show here on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. Keep staying with us so we can walk on some more.
This is the Valley's News Talk and Podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix, a Central City radio station.
Eldridge. Why am I?
It is a hard last name. It is.
Let's spell it Eldridge. Because I tried to put an A in there, like Aldridge, but it's Eldridge.
Okay, I was going to ask about what do you think about the school districts and the CR critical race theories that they're kind of pushed to the schools, and this indoctrination. If you're in a center, are you going to try to keep an eye on those kind of things?
Absolutely. My daughters are actually half Filipino, so they've already got that, I guess you could say, mark against them. I'm learning more about critical race theory and all that. There's still so much that I need to learn about it. But one of the things that I've been watching more so is the homework that's coming home. They're telling my daughters, okay, you have to color this particular picture, but you can't color it however you want. We want it colored this way. I kid you not. And I'm very fortunate. My daughter's teacher is a patriot. Love her to death. So she kind of warns me in advance, hey, you're not going to like homework today. But she has to teach that stuff. I'm very fortunate, too, that Beverly Pingarelli, which she's in the House, she actually sits on the Peoria Unified School District right now. And she's been a very good fighter. Very good fighter. She's caught some really good things. I guess there was some of the curriculum that they were doing. One of the parents found websites to porn in the curriculum. This stuff scares me. That our kids are access to all this.
This is ridiculous because you don't indoctrinate your kids. I remember when I went to school, we never had critical race theory.
Right.
We never had, black against white, white against black. I mean, it was unheard of. And now they're trying to put critical race theory put into the kids' brain that they have to think white and black and yellow. And I mean, this is ridiculous. And now the porn that's being introduced, this is supposed to be okay. It educates our kid. No, it doesn't. It makes them, it's bad. I hate it.
I'm hearing in Dysart Unified School District, I'm still researching this, they're pushing a new policy that it's called an equality policy, where the darker your skin, the less trouble you're going to be in. So if you and I got into a fight, I'm a little lighter than you, I might get more trouble.
Yeah,
so I'm hearing this from actual school board people, and that's not what I want my kids to have to grow up with. My daughter just started kindergarten last school year, and she was on the computer all but 2 months of the school, and I kept getting messages from her teacher saying, your daughter has the hardest time focusing and paying attention. I'm like, yes, she's 5 on a computer. I'm like, what do you expect?
How dare she be a kid and do her job?
Right.
Wow.
This is kindergarten when they should be on the magic carpet and learning about sharing and friends.
It's so much different in classroom than on the computer.
It is.
And on the computer, a 5-year-old it's not going to be concentrated like they are in a classroom. So the teachers have got to have some kind of, problem.
Are they back in school now?
My daughter is now. So she was actually in the Washington Unified School District last year. And one of the biggest problems I had was, she'd go to school with a shirt that says "Fueled by Kindness," and it's a princess shirt. She got in trouble because you're not allowed to have words on your shirts.
No.
You can't wear a Nike shirt. I kid you not, because they do not want kids to feel identified by, the kind of clothes that they could wear. They want it all plain, but yet we're not wearing, uniforms. So I literally sent her in whatever she wanted to wear every day, and I get calls. Hey, your daughter's not allowed to wear that. I'm sorry. The school is Abraham Lincoln School.
So you can't have prints.
Opposite.
You can't have prints,
awful.
or you can't have lion.
You can have the print, but you can't. It can't say anything. It couldn't even say Elsa and Anna Frozen, but you get in trouble. But you can have the picture of it, but yet the teachers have bright purple hair. Their fingernails. She couldn't even paint her fingernails.
Wow, and I remember the days. Remember the teachers? They had to wear dresses and look professional and everything. Which oh my goodness gracious.
But now she's in first grade in Peoria Unified, which I really like in school so far. But we're getting lots of emails, not necessarily about my daughter. My daughter's a good kid, but about students while they're in lunch or out in PE. They don't know how to behave anymore. They're fighting. They're bullying each other, because they missed a whole year, and it takes children need that process. They need that togetherness with other children to learn that. And it's sad to see my daughter have to deal with that. But then also wearing a mask in last year, she doesn't have to this year, thank God, because Peoria Unified hasn't pushed that. But she has asthma.
Wow.
And then, for her to know what's going on, she gets it. At 5 years old, she said, "Daddy, I want you to fix this so I can go to school next year." So that's really one of the first calling I had.
Okay, you need to have an ad like that, and she's saying that, and she should put a little mask on, and then take it off. Say, "I have asthma. My daddy's running for the Senate," and do an ad.
She's already meeting friends. She goes, "My daddy's going to fix COVID." I'm like, "You can't do that. You can't say that." But I'm going to try.
But what stops kids that have masks on from creating fights and getting away with it? Because nobody can recognize them because they have the mask on.
Exactly. There's a store in El Mirage that does feed and all that stuff. And the owner, I'm sitting there with him one day, and somebody walks in with a mask. He's all, "Are you robbing my store?" And he goes, "Well, no, sir. I'm just wearing a mask." He's all, "Because if you're wearing a mask in my store, I think you're robbing me, so we're going to act on it." The guy took his mask off. Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that, because I have to drive by a school on my way home from work, and the kids are out there, and they're still making them wear masks, evidently. Yeah. And it breaks my heart, because these are little elementary kids, and it was still warm, and I think they can't be comfortable, and they're running and doing that. And you know how dirty the masks get and everything. And I'm so glad to hear that, at least in the Peoria Unified School District, which I used to actually do presentations there for my Mary Kay. Yeah. That's a salute to them and home enchiladas.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to ask you, we've got a lot of topics, but we're going to cover it. Can you stay with us until 5?
Sure.
Awesome. I want to ask about our wonderful topic, illegal immigration. Okay, so we're right here in Arizona. There's all kinds of stuff going on. So tackle whatever you want first on that.
Well, this is going to be a problem for a long time until we get our state representatives to understand this is actually a state problem, not a federal problem. There's actually been several people that I've talked to that said, well, we can't touch anything on the border. But unfortunately, or fortunate for Arizona, I should say, we're a sovereign nation, technically. And we can create our own borders. We have private property all along that line. Anytime somebody crosses over, now you've got trespassing. Watching these people being dropped off at hotels, which in the security industry, a lot of my properties that we do now, we've actually seen those buses pull up. And all those people do is they start scattering everywhere and, moving along. I'm all for immigration. Do it the right way.
We are too. We're proponents of immigration. It's made our country great, proper immigration.
Absolutely. And, I think we need our representatives to actually stand up and say, hold on a minute, we can do something about this. It's clear in the Constitution, the state Constitution, that we can do something about it. And if we have to build our own wall, we build our own wall. We have to put fences up, put our fences up. We have to put the National Guard down there. Let's do that.
What do you think is workable if you were to get in there, and what could you, fight for and get done?
That's a good question.
A consensus.
I think, we need to push the governor to actually act on this. Maybe mobilize the National Guard at first until we can start working on solutions, finding the funding. The funding is there. It's just a matter of, where do we take it from? But there's so much spending that doesn't need to be done, on just random junk, I guess you could say. I know it's all about the numbers too, and I hear that from several of the representatives. Well, we don't have the numbers to help us get this passed. But you don't hear people that are constantly vocal about it. It comes up one time and they table it, and everybody kind of shuts their mouth and goes their own way. And unfortunately, they need that guy. That's going to be me that says no. Sorry. I had a cough there.
And what about the schools? Because even the schools, like you were talking about the schools earlier, if you get an influx of a lot of immigrants and they don't speak English, then you're going to have to implement programs like
ESL,
Spanish as a second language.
Yeah.
And then it gets more muddied because you might get Haitians that come in that don't speak English, and what do you do then? It starts affecting the school districts.
It does.
Too.
It does, and I think it's going to bring down the value of a lot of the education because they're going to have to focus on these other programs that aren't necessarily teaching all the students the same thing, or their parents are not going to like that. There's only one school that their kid can go to that actually, teaches Arabic or whatever it is, works with Arabic or whatnot.
It's going to bring back more problems. Well, okay, so we have one problem because we have to take a break right now. But that's not a problem. That's a good thing. We have to pay bills. And we'll be right back for our last segment with our Arizona LD21 state candidate, Ryan Eldridge. And I'm Alice Lara here with
Don Jorge. And hi, Al. Lara is watching.
Okay, we'll check that out. See, it must be a relative, I hope. So don't go away. We'll be right back with the Chips and Salsa Show here on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix.
Our numbers. I also need donations as well because, we've got to get signage out there. We've got to get literature out there. So, you can also donate on my page as well. And again, it doesn't matter where you are in the state. If I'm not in your district, but you feel that I'm going to be what you need to help represent all of Arizona, I ask everybody, please go and donate the best they can.
You could donate a few bucks, and you can take out-of-state donations as well, too, right?
Yes, we can.
So if you're watching and you want to support good Republicans and you feel that Ryan is a good Republican, then, you can send him a few bucks. That's not a problem at all. Absolutely. George, go ahead. Did you have a question? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was signaling over there.
All right, so a question that I had, and I like the fact that you are very focused on people have to start knowing who are their representatives and holding them accountable. So you get elected. What is your plan to keep that outreach going and make sure that you're talking to your constituents and Arizonans?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. So there are a lot of different, meetings, clubs, and all that, and I've been participating as many as I can. And I'm going to continue that because once I get elected, I'm not saying if, when I get elected.
There you go.
It's going to be continuing the community outreach, getting out with the different organizations, meeting with veterans groups, which is one of my top priorities is working with veterans, meeting with the different school boards and the districts on what we can do to better, the programs, and also holding forums so that I can hear from the people what they need. So that way I could turn around and take that back with me. I don't want to just get a bunch of emails. I want people to be able to see me, talk to me one-on-one if they need to. And, just being out in the community. And we need more of that. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to encourage the other representatives to do that as well, maybe even join me.
That'd be good. Get the group for the whole
very good. Because a lot of those representatives in those cities, they'll get the signatures, but then you never see them again.
Right.
And you hear about them, I'm running again, but you never get to talk to them and tell them what the problem is in your neighborhood or the neighborhoods around you. So that's good.
We're actually planning on, and if you pay attention to my website on the calendar, we're going to be doing a big block party to introduce myself to El Mirage and Hole, maybe even people in Surprise. We're planning, I think it's the second weekend of December right now. So we're still putting together some information on that, and getting a few vendors to come out, a couple of food trucks and whatnot. But we got a park all reserved, and we're gonna have some music, and it's gonna be great. And I'm having a couple other representatives, or not representatives, but candidates, statewide candidates, are actually going to be joining me as well. And all that information is going to be on my website. It'll be on my Facebook page. Elect Ryan Eldridge, or Ryan Eldridge for Senate, I think it is. And that way, people can get involved and come out, hear what we have to say, and get to know us a little bit better.
I think that's a great idea, because you need to be able to talk to your candidates, and I'm going to recommend too. Think about what your most important topic is, because you can go to these things and they get really busy, because George and I have been to plenty, and a lot of people want to talk to them. So really try to have your question ready so you don't waste time, because before you know it, man, if you get a bunch of people, but it's really good that you already have plans to make yourself available.
And I'm always the first one to these events, and I'm usually the last one to leave, because I'm not going to skip out right after I'm done talking. I always hang out, because I want to make sure that people do get a chance to ask me questions, or get a feel for who I am, and see that this is real. I didn't want to get into politics, but I feel it's a fight that I got to get into.
Good. And I always say, if you don't run for office, help someone who is. However you can do that, with a few bucks or some volunteer hours.
Absolutely.
Whatever you can do.
That'd be a great meet and greet at the park. That's how to get your community out, and other LDs to get involved, and it'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of representatives, they just keep it at their LD meetings.
Yes.
You maybe visit some of the churches. I've actually been invited to several churches, and I love meeting the people, hearing their stories. I mean, some of their stories are heart-wrenching, because you hear the struggles that they've got going on. But then it gives me more ideas and more ways that, and more passion to get into this fight and help them out.
Well, it's so important to have good candidates, because we're such a growing state.
We are.
Still. People are coming here from everywhere, and we're only going to keep growing.
We are, and businesses are coming in here, I mean, like crazy. We need to make sure that we can spread that wealth among the different cities, not all just in the East Valley and Southwest Valley,
And there is a lot of money coming into the state because of this new bill that our president signed. But it's like $10 billion coming in for infrastructure, for road building. So it's going to be a lot of jobs that are going to be available in that aspect.
About $6 billion. We're down to like our last 30 seconds. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to give your information out again.
Okay, so, and again, I appreciate you guys inviting me. Love the show.
Thank you.
RyanForAZ.com or TakeBackOurSenate.com. You could see some videos, pictures, get to know a little bit more about the issues that you're passionate about, not necessarily what I'm passionate about. This is how I'm addressing your issues. And then you can also follow my calendar so that you can make sure you can attend the events that I'm at, and come meet me. We'll sit down and talk.
Thank you, Ryan Eldridge, candidate for Arizona Senate, LD21. I'm Alice Lara.
With Don Jorge, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Be with us again Tuesday, 4 p.m. here on the Chips and Salsa Show, so we can walk on some more on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. Have a wonderful week.
What you need to know. This is Talk Central, a Central City radio station.
Deliberations underway. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The Wisconsin jury, considering the fate of Kyle Rittenhouse, who is charged with murder in Kenosha County, has asked for copies of the jury instructions.
Specifically pages 1 through 6, which are the self-defense instructions in a case over 3 shootings last year, 2 deadly during the Kenosha riots, where self-defense is the central argument. And as Kenosha business owners like Ann Benson tell Fox News,
we're a little nervous. Not sure of where we're going to go or what's going to happen. We're trying to stay positive.
Governor Tony Evers saying regardless of the outcome that he's urging peace as he activates the National Guard ahead of the verdict.
Fox's Jeff Bonasso in Kenosha County. If convicted in the most serious charge, Rittenhouse could get a mandatory life sentence. President Biden with the first of 2 stops this week promoting his infrastructure package he signed into law yesterday in Woodstock, New Hampshire.
A bipartisan bill is going to mobilize